Just getting up to the field here. Our gun is still running. It's at least close, if not all the way in. We'll have to get back there and check it. Good morning, by the way. Everything looks like it's working pretty well here. Yeah, hopefully that timer shuts the pump off. It is brought all the way in, so it's done. It's a little wet up here in our lane because it's been shooting there for a minute or two, but it's good. So we gotta get it unhooked and spin it back and pull it down to the next riser there where that tractor's setting, and we'll keep watering. There, it shut off. Good deal. Alright, so we gotta pick up this stabilizer leg. I already got that other one. And unhook our hose, pull it up. Got her pulled up to the next one, hooked up, stabilizer's down, gun cart ready to go, hooked up to the tractor, we're ready to pull. After I get doing this a couple of times, I can make these pulls and switch it, especially when I just have to spin it, in like 15 minutes or so. I get pretty good at it. So this is run number 3. There are 16 runs in this field, so if we can do 3 a day, maybe 4. Some of these ones over on this end of the field are sort of short because it's not a square field. It's gonna take us a week though. Got the gun pulled out again. We've got 742 feet this time. We're a little short because of the woods there that we're in front of on this run. So I'll do my math. Let's go get the pump started up. Pump's running, and I've got my injector pump running as well. Yeah. We're only putting in 2.5 gallons of ATS per hour, so it's pretty slow, low use rate, but I don't know if you guys can see it way off there in the distance. There's the water starting to shoot out. Once the pipe is full, it doesn't take near as long. 6 hours and 15 minutes roughly this run's gonna take. All right, I got her started up, reeling it back in, so we'll come back in 6 hours. It's 8 o'clock. That'd be 2 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, back at the farm. Took a few minutes and had my peanut butter and jelly sandwich and did a little paperwork on the computer. Now it's time to start cleaning up some equipment. So I'm gonna get that anhydrous bar, we're gonna pull it around front and do some power washing. This shouldn't take too terribly long. It's not a real big piece of equipment, but we do want to blow all the dirt off of it and clean it up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on that. While I'm doing that, you guys don't really need to watch me. I told you I had some GoPro footage of this I was going to put in a video sometime. I haven't done that yet, so let's do that now. I'm about done power washing on the bar here. I was just touching up the tractor a little bit. Somebody asked me a couple of days ago how that ceramic coating is holding up on this tractor, and I was kind of waiting until I got the power washer out to tell you. I don't know if you guys can see on this window here. That strip I did down the middle is clearly still working. And it's not as sticky as it was during planting. I haven't noticed it getting dusted up quite so bad, so that's good. And the hood still looks really good. The dirt washes right off when I hit it. It's clean, so I'm still pretty impressed with it. Okay, I am done power washing. I'm gonna let this sit here and dry off for a little while. I need to run to the store and get some stuff, so we're gonna make a Rural King run and get some lunch, and see what time we get back, but it'll probably be getting close to time to move that Traveler after that. But we'll get this thing put in the barn. We probably are still going to work on it a little bit more. Usually we leave getting it ready for the field stuff till the late winter, spring, right before we get it out. But with those hinges and stuff and the welding that we were doing, I think we want to get that done here probably this summer. Also, there is always that possibility that we buy something different and we're not even using this next year, so we will see on that. If I had to give it odds right now, I would say there's about a 40% chance we end up with a deer bar, about a 30% chance that we end up with a better version of a shank bar, and a 30% chance that we're running that one again next year. Something like that. Maybe 50% on the deer, 20% on buying a new one of those. I don't know. I'm leaning towards the deer style. I don't know what Phil's thinking, and I don't know what Dad's thinking, and where budgets are going to allow and all that good stuff anyway. So we'll see. We're going to clean it up and put it away like we're going to use it next year, though. And you know, until things change, that's the plan. And even if it does change, we're going to sell it in good shape. Just got back from Rural King. Got some DEF. That should be enough to get us through wheat harvest. 25 gallons there. And then I got a couple of gallons of this stuff. I've never used it before, but I've heard really good things about it for spraying on like those disc blades and shanks and stuff to keep them from rusting. We've always just painted stuff in the past, but it takes forever. And so I decided to buy some of this, and I bought a little garden sprayer. We're gonna pour a jug in there and pump it up and spray it on. It should go nice and quick, and we'll see if it works. It's not a big deal either way, but worth a shot. So I also bought a new gas jug because we got to be able to take gas up to that Traveler, and ours for some reason are all junk, mostly because they're all 20 years old. But yeah, so we've got about an hour before that thing's going to be done. So here in, I don't know, 45 minutes or so we'll go up. So I'm going to unfold this and we'll get our fluid film sprayed on, and then we can get that put away. This may not work like I thought it was going to. This stuff is way thicker than I was anticipating. I don't know. Guess we'll see what happens. I might ruin my new $10 sprayer. I don't know. It poured in there all right. Enough pressure, it ought to come out the gun. Ooh. I don't know. Well, that didn't quite work out like I thought it might, but that's okay. I could get it to spray out of that gun, but it was just a stream. It wouldn't spray it with a nice pattern to coat everything. So I ended up spraying some on and then taking a rag and just wiping it. And I had enough on these first three that I sprayed to wipe pretty much half of them. But yeah, so I got them all coated, wiped some stuff on them. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna let that sit for a minute because it's time to go move the Traveler. It's not quite all the way in yet, but we're getting close. What do we got here? 16 feet, it says. Getting a little windy. It's blowing it that way. Done. It was pulled in for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Enough for me to get it picked up, so now we can just move it. We'll close our valve, take the hose off, spin it, hook the hose back up, and pull it out. Run 4. This is the shortest one on the whole field because of this ditch that cuts it here. It would be a full half mile if we could go all the way to the road where that white house is, but we can't even get
close to that. So this one will be a short one. Let's see, it's going to be about 2:30 when I get it started up. Probably change this one right before I go home for the night, and then we'll have to come back late tonight. Okay, got this set up and running. It's going to be about a 2 hour and 45 minute pull here. I sped it up back up to 30, so we're going to put a little bit less water on this pass, but that's just mostly a timing thing because I want this to get done at about 5:30 and not 6 or 6:15, because yeah, I like to get home at a decent time. Plus I'm going to have to come back after the next one because the next one's going to be slightly longer, but not a lot. So if this isn't, yeah, the next out will probably be a 4 or 5 hour pull, which means 10 or 11 tonight. And then the next one should be a full pull actually. So I am going to walk out here. I am, clearly. I want to check the pressure on the nozzle just to see if we're still around 65 or what. Yeah, it's still at 65. And I got soaked doing that. It's not that windy, but it's misting back at me. So it's in the mid 70s today, partly cloudy. We do get a little bit of sun, but I can still see that this corn is suffering from dry weather. Now, it doesn't look bad here. This is not severe by any means, but it's also going to be 3 days before we get to this spot in the field. But if you look at some of these leaves, see like this one here, how it's kind of curling together and starting to flip over a little bit. That's a self-defense mechanism that the corn plants have, where it closes the stomata on the bottom of the leaf, which stops it from its respiration process, stops bringing CO2 in, putting oxygen out, and is a way to conserve moisture. That's a good thing that the plant is helping to conserve moisture, but it's also a bad thing because it means that it's not actively growing, and we need these plants to keep growing as fast and as much as possible. So I don't like seeing this curling up. Now that's mild, that's barely noticeable. When it gets really dry, those things will curl right up, turn over, and it'll look like a field of pineapple out here. But we don't want to get there. The whole point of this is to never let the corn have a bad day. So that's why we're pumping water. It's always hard making that first breakthrough in the end rows. Ugh. It's one of my traveler lanes that we haven't gone down yet, and we got to be able to get out to the end of the field. So we run over some corn. It's not the end of the world. One of the first years we had this traveler, I did some math on how much corn we were taking out or not having by leaving those lanes and running over, and it works out to a little over 1% if you count the center lane, which you have to count, but it's harder to figure. Maybe probably about 1.5% of the acres that we're taking out, which means that we need a 1.5% increase on the remaining acres to cover that loss. And on a 200 bushel corn crop, that's 3 bushel. We have to increase it by 3 bushel to make up for taking out that corn. Now, obviously, we have some operating costs. There's a lot of work involved here, but I think our history has shown that for every inch of water that we put on, we're gaining between 15 and 20 bushels per acre. So if I irrigate twice, that's a 30 to 40 bushel increase in yield. It's worth it. All right, now that I'm back at the farm, I'm gonna run over to the place where we bought this irrigation thing. They're only 7-8 miles from here. That Murphy switch on the Traveler inlet there, that pressure gauge, the push button on it is not working, which makes it very difficult to start it up when there's no water pressure through it. I'm gonna run over and see if they got a new one. Somebody watched and said on yesterday's video that apparently there's a new style now, and this one's really old, which it came with the Traveler. We bought it in 2013, so I don't know what's that old, but if there's a new style, maybe it's better. So I'm gonna go see if they got one. Got what I need, but it is the same style, exactly what's on there. I don't know. Okay, let's put this thing away. I'm gonna fold her up. That goes in the barn in the back. All right, got her unhooked. So that's where it will sit until we get it out to work on it or sell it. One of the two. Also, you guys can't see very good because of the reflection there. But any year that we don't have to get the old rotary hoe out that sits in there behind that, that's a good year. I'm getting this little trailer hooked up to our four-wheeler, which we don't use much. Don't use the trailer much either, but I find it much faster and more convenient to haul fuel up to my generator with this. So we're going to get one of our 100-gallon transfer tanks, strap it into the trailer, and use that to run it back and forth. There. We'll get a battery, set it in here to run that pump, and then we can just use that for transferring fuel. I don't know. I suppose we're burning close to 100 gallons a day. Not quite. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long since I did any of this irrigating. Since we didn't run it last year, I kind of forget what everything is. But I think our generator burns about 3.5 gallons per hour. The thing is, it doesn't shut off, right? It won't shut off until either it rains. Yeah, until it rains. So I mean, we may run it for a week straight. So it does burn some fuel. We got to keep taking it up there. Okay, I got that filled up and ready to go. We've got about an hour before that thing's going to be done, but I'm going to head up there anyway so we can get that fuel in the generator. And I want to take that Murphy switch, which we won't be able to change, but I also want to check out them lights on that tractor, see if I can't get them working before we get started tonight. Okay, I'm getting the fuel put in the generator here. This thing is quite a bit louder when you've got the door open, but it's all right. I'm pretty sure that whole tank will fit, but I guess we'll see. And I also, I found a switch in the barn to replace the one that was here. I don't know if that one works either, but I put it in, we'll try it. Everything at the river here still looks pretty good. Lots of water. Our injection pump is working. We were about right there on the tank when I started it yesterday, so it's moving slow, but we're putting on what we're supposed to be. So when I was driving in, I noticed this spot here where we've got a seal that's leaking. This is a problem, because one, it's making a big wet spot here. Two, we're losing pressure and not getting quite as much at the gun down there, so there's not a whole lot I can do about it with it together. I might have to try and split the pipe, which fortunately we're fairly close to that corner, so I can get it apart down there, and then I might have to pull all these sections apart, but yeah, that's no good. So can't do anything with it while it's on. We'll wait for this run to get over, which it's getting there, and then we'll see if we can't fix that. Well, our fuel did not quite all fit in there, which well, that's really a good thing, but it was a good thing I was watching it, because this transfer tank does not have a auto shut-off nozzle, so we could have spilled some, but I guess that's about right, though. I should have thought about it, because we've been running about 24 hours now, and 4 gallons a minute would be 100 gallons, so the fact that we didn't get all of that in there means we're not burning 4 gallons an hour, which is a good thing. Okay, next let's see if we can figure out what's wrong with one of these lights. I took a cover off and it revealed that there are 4 screws that I need to take out to get to that bulb. I'm going to take one off the front and trade it with the one on the back and see if it's a bulb issue or something else not getting power here. Well, that light bulb sure looks good, which makes me think it's a power issue. Let me track some fuses and stuff and double check in the cab before I go taking apart a bunch of lights. Well, I definitely have power issues, because I took that one out and I swapped it with one in the front that I know was working, and I put the old bulb from the back in there, and it's working there, and that one is still not. I don't know. I pulled the fuse cover. There's several fuses to check. I checked them all. They all checked fine. I should swap a couple and see if that works, but I'm not sure what the problem is here. Maybe the switch is bad. This is the old school lighting control instead of on the touch screen like the 8R, where it's got these switches to turn different ones on and off. It's possible something there is bad. I don't know. I had another spot here that's been leaking, clearly. That's no good. I can't have water standing in my main lane like that. So since the traveler just shut off, I kind of pull the pipe over and arch it there like that, and then it'll eventually will pull it apart if you take the clamp off. And I was able to get the seal out, and you can see this one here, that seal was not seated correctly, and it got pinched, and that's why it was leaking. So I'm debating whether I can put this one in there in the right spot and it will go together, or if I just go get a new seal. I've got some, but they're clear on the pipe trailer, which is way over that way. And then we got to get her back together and get the clamp on, go take it apart in another spot that's leaking. So anyway, this is how this stuff works. So this seal fits in this groove in here, and it's split on the back, so when it's got water pressure behind it, the water kind of presses this apart and seals it around this lip. This slides into the bell side there, and then our clamps go on, catches this edge and this edge. It's called ring lock fitting, and we don't have too much trouble with it. This is it's rare that I have a pipe leak like this one was. So I don't know. We'll put it back together here and see. I'll see if it fits in that groove very good and how it goes back together. If I don't like it, I'll go get a new seal. But it seems to fit in there. Well, I got it back together, so we're going to try that. I'm going to go move the traveler now, get to that next lane. We'll take that one, the pump apart back there when we go to start it up. And I didn't figure anything out with my lights. Their bulbs are good, that's what I know. The fuses and the relays are good, I know that. So that's almost got to be a wiring issue in the cab, maybe on the top of the cab. I don't really know what's going on. I'm gonna have to find a temporary solution until I can fix it though. Moving. All right, we're all set up again. I'm getting sick of these short runs, but this one's 570 feet. Almost half a run. This will probably take about 4-ish hours. I don't know, I'll do the math on it, but I gotta go fix that other blowout in the pipe first. So it's this one that's leaking. Problem is this pipe is still full of water, which makes it very heavy. So we're gonna have to pull this clamp and then go down to the end and try and get that one off at the corner there and see if we can get it to drain and pull it apart, and we're gonna end up with a mess. Ugh. As much work as putting this pipe together is, it's a whole lot worse taking it apart. Because when you're taking it apart, it's full of water. And then everything's muddy. And it's heavy. Ugh. So, we gonna get all 7,000 gallons? I don't think so. I think it's just kind of the hills. Once you get a crest, it gets air in it, and then it doesn't come the rest of the way. But gonna be a wet spot here for a couple of days. Got it apart. You guys see it? See that? That is the problem. That's why it's leaking. We gotta get that back in the groove. Like that, and she should seal up. Okay, she's back together, and this run's gonna take us 4 hours and 45 minutes, and I don't think it's leaking down here. It doesn't look like it anyway. That's good. We'll go see if our other one is. I gotta start with the traveler anyway. Well, that one's definitely not leaking now, so that's good. Although, we're just getting pressure. We drained a lot of water out of that hose. Alright, well, everything's running. It's going to be done at 11 o'clock tonight. I'm going to go get my fuel trailer and head back to the farm. Dang, that one's still leaking just a little bit. It's a lot better than it was. Going to have to replace the gasket in that one, I guess. I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it tonight. Sometime tomorrow we'll pull it apart again and do it. Dang, that's the hard one to get to too. Oh well, Should have put a new gasket in it from the start. Oh man, look at my hair. Anyway, I'm heading back to the farm. I'm not gonna film it tonight at 11 o'clock when I'm here, because you've seen it over and over, and you're gonna keep seeing it over and over, and there's nothing new and exciting happening. If something does, I'll film it, but I don't plan on it. So with that, have a great night, everybody. Questions and comments, leave them down below. If you have, yeah, questions and comments, that part. I already said that. Like and subscribe is what I was going for there. If you would, please, I appreciate it. I've been getting a few more views here in the last week or two, and I really appreciate it. It's awesome. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's plan, I'm either gonna hook the corn planter up and try and get through that and get that cleaned up and put away, or if I can find somebody to take me up and get the combine, we're gonna go and do that. So should be a good one. See ya.